Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stedman podcast. I just wanted to give you guys, the listeners, a quick update on what is going on with the Stedman podcast. I was hoping that I would present a brand new episode for you guys to listen to, as there has been just a lot of great conversations, a lot of great content that has been being produced from the Stedman podcast. I even have had new guests on the show. So I'm very excited to really roll all this information and all this content out to you guys so that you guys can be filled up and just feel like that you have been highly educated and well informed on all the topics that not only interest me, but hopefully interest you as well. So long story short, I've been having kind of a issue with our current podcast server. I have been with our current podcast server since the inception of this podcast, even before it got renamed to the Stedman podcast, when originally it was called A Theology and Backgammon, where me and my co-host Ryan would meet and really kind of discuss the same theological topics that were just a great part of our society. However, one of the things that I've been running into is just storage space. And for the money that I'm paying to keep, not only to make sure we have a high bandwidth so that people can access the podcast, but also making sure that I have room and storage to be able to archive all of our podcast. Now, the problem I'm getting into is I'm running out of storage space for all the podcasts because we've been putting out a lot of content within this past couple of years. And some of the older episodes I have been removing, basically uploading them on YouTube as backups. But I felt convicted because I felt like we're losing part of the show's history by me removing this due to space. However, I was able to find another podcast server that is going to cost me the same amount, but I will have unlimited storage space. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to update you guys on that, because there is going to be a migration, and I'm not sure if it's going to be smooth or if it's going to be rough. I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. So there may be some blips or glips within how you're receiving the podcast. Again, if you're following me through like Amazon or Apple or Google or any other podcast server outside of Podomatic, which is the server that I have been using for years, if you're listening to the podcast through those different platforms, then hopefully you won't see too much of an issue because everything should roll over smoothly. If you are primarily listening to Podomatic, you might want to switch over to a different podcast client so that you're able to still listen to the Stedman podcast. And for those of you who have been listening to the Stedman podcast through YouTube, through the video portion, do not worry. This will not affect anything you're doing. The only thing you will is you'll probably start to see more episodes being dropped on there, as I'm still trying to archive some of the old audio footage into video format to be able to upload to YouTube. So you should still be seeing some new content up there on YouTube, but I felt like that it was just, I really didn't want to have to start deleting episodes due to storage space. So hopefully this new partnership with a new podcast server will be great, and that we'd have no issues with it. And again, special thanks to Podomatic. They have been with me for 15 years and have done a great job. And basically, it's nothing of their own fault. It's just, podcasting sometimes does get a little bit pricey, and especially if you're holding storage and server, sometimes that gets pricey as well. So no fault to them. I'm just moving on to somewhere else where I can really catalog a lot of my podcast. So that's the main reason for this episode today. The other reason is just want to kind of let you guys know of some future things that are coming up. We're going to be talking about a lot of cool episodes. One of the things we just got done filming is we have our first kind of multiple guests podcast. So instead of just me and another person or just me, we actually have me and two people. So that's exciting that we're going to have more opinions, more thoughts. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm just can't wait to be able to push that content out to you guys. I know you will enjoy it because I enjoy making it, so I know you guys will enjoy listening. So, guys, thank you so much for being such a big supporter of the Scott Stedman podcast. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will be having a new podcast up next week. Talk to you guys later. Bye.